What's going on? Move the mouse here, back in City Skylines, the town of Santa Rico, with our Let's Play Season 2, Episode 6. And picking up right where we left off, we had our big downtown skyscraper IT cluster starting to take hold. We'll see that is something that we're going to need to work on, though, going forward. We're slowly but surely letting our industrial area die. Let me bring up the pop-ups here. You'll see that my industry and office area are having the same problem. Let's pause it. You have these yellow pop-ups here that basically are not enough buyers for products. And we have the same problem happening down here, and some of the buildings are getting abandoned as a result. Now, what's kind of odd is not enough buyers for products could be two things. You don't have enough commercial space in the town to sell the goods to sell it on to the consumers, the residents, or you don't have enough ability to export products, which should more be the case with industry. But also, unfortunately, is kind of the case with high-tech, which is kind of weird because when you think of high-tech IT cluster jobs, you think more software, but they might be manufacturing some microchips and motherboards and things like that. Maybe NVIDIA has an office down here. Maybe you're an AMD person, but either way, they need to get those goods off the map. Now, one thing that a commenter pointed out was, be sure to keep in mind Rails when you're expanding. Rails is going to be really tough, and I don't think... I'm trying to guess it from here. Let's see if we can tell from the area's view. I don't think we're going to be able to get Rails in this town, because I don't know if I go over one more to the right, if we're going to be able to catch that rail. And I do really want to build down here. I kind of want to build up that way. Maybe we ignore this tile, but it's going to be kind of a very oddly shaped downtown area if I just kind of cut it off and start building that way. And I'm more worried about kind of the look and feel of this town, and maybe we negate rails and do a cargo harbor, which hopefully we can get in over here. I don't think I have access to that yet. Does it show shipping lines? It does. Excellent. So we can get cargo off the map and export goods and services if we connect it up to a shipping lane out there. So we're going to do that instead of rail, I believe. We still may buy this tile up here. I'd kind of like to build something in that little valley. I think that would be kind of cool. Have a little road running through here. Tiny little town up there. Connect the road through here and up to the highway. But all of that is future ideas for expansion. Let's deal with some of the things that we've got going on right now. So we want to slowly but surely move our industrial out. So I'm going to switch over to the fill tool and basically de-zone any of these buildings that are... You know what? I'm just going to de-zone these blocks. Any place that has an abandoned building, we're just going to de-zone it. So let's do that, at least in the industrial space, and we'll just start moving these out. Now, this is going to have a remarkable effect on this intersection, because right now, let's go 3 times speed to kind of see how it's moving. It's not moving great, but it's going to greatly improve because we're dramatically going to reduce the number of trucks that are coming through there. Let's look at our power situation, because we've created potentially some power problems. Looks like we're okay. It's spreading just enough on that outer block. Go in and clean up these last couple abandoned buildings. And we're just going to kind of let this industry area die off. We'll clean up some of our commercial space. And this is part of our problem right now. We're in this weird sort of weird point in the city where my offices need a lot more buyers, but we don't need more commercial space. So we've got to get working on getting down here to the south, getting that shipping lane hooked up as soon as possible so that we can start exporting more stuff, not just on the highway, but exporting goods and services via train to get it onto the boat. So it's a multi-step process. I think it's kind of weird how this is so dependent on that, but you can solve the problems the same way, at least as far as I understand. If I'm incorrect, let me know in the comments down below. It would not be the first time. So we've cleared out some of our buildings. We will expect that these ones that are complaining to probably get abandoned too. But since we have some more industry demand coming in, and we want to meet that with office, let's take a look at our districts and see where our IT cluster is defined. It's kind of right here on this line. Let's draw a new block down here. I want to figure out how we're going to connect this grid system to that grid system. And then we can kind of zone off around that. So I'm going to come down here and do another block of offices. And I think what we're going to do is, this is going to be, I had already marked it off, this is going to be another 6-lane avenue so we can support more traffic coming from here as we continue to build some residents out there and scatter in some commercial space. We didn't block off this as commercial, so let's redraw this. So I'll go to my selection tool, I'm going to deselect this, and we're going to make that high density commercial all the way up to, let's see, there. Come on. Not to there, because when we upgrade these roads, we still want that little bit of a buffer. And again, the reason I'm doing that is I don't want the businesses able to move in with a face coming this way. I want the traffic on the main avenue. It's not as big of a deal on that 6-lane road as it is over here. But just to be safe, we'll do the same thing. And then the residents can live right up on the corner if they want. Ooh, I gotta fix my paths now. It broke my pedestrian paths. Did I do gravel or I did pavement? So we'll just get these connected back up. So that people have a way to walk through. And we're gonna do more of these kind of as we build the city out. But that's a good start for now. Let's zone off this office space. We'll check our water and then check our districts. So at some point I want this to connect into the other grid system. Let's block all that off as office for now. We'll continue. I forgot our 6-lane road down here. So let's do that. And then how do we connect this back up? So I don't want to have this little side street connecting up to this side street. We want maybe, I'm thinking, is this going to be big enough that we want to do this in 6 lanes as well too? And I think that we might. And I think since we've got some industry demand and we're going to move some businesses out to do this, let's do it. So let's see, I think I broke my pedestrian cut through there. I had one set up in this neighborhood. So that one's broken. We could do that one with pretty minimal impact. Let's do that. Planning for future growth. We're going to come all the way through here. It should let us do that. Double check when you do this too, that it de-zones those squares, because sometimes it gets a little finicky and you can have buildings build up on top of your path. I actually kind of like the look of that patio there, but unfortunately we're going to knock that out. Because I want to give pedestrians other ways to cut through. Now ideally what we should do is do a kind of a cross section in the middle here so that they have ways to cut through easier. But it's also going to let it feel a little bit open. We'll see how that looks. We'll start with that, just these basic cut throughs for now. We'll do them down the center of every block. The lengthwise cut here is not saving people that much time because they could just walk to this corner and do the same thing. It's more the cross sections that would save them time, because if I want to get from, say, you know, a building on this side to the building on this side, I have to walk all the way around. If I had a little pedestrian cut through here, it saves them some time. But we'll start with that for now. Let's zone off. Now that we've kind of disrupted our zoning a little bit, let's fix this zoning. And we'll zone down here for now too. I want these east to west crossroads to support more traffic at least every couple blocks. We don't have to do 6 lanes everywhere, but we want to kind of give people faster ways to get around and prefer these bigger roads, these smaller roads that can't support as much traffic. We can always upgrade it down the road. We've left a little bit of space. It's pretty tight zoning down here, but if we had to get rid of these middle pedestrian cut-throughs, we could upgrade, say, these roads to 6 lanes and not lose too much zoning, but we want to leave it a little bit spaced out. So what I'm thinking is if this carries over here and we connect it up on the sides, and then you have the main one off the rotary, kind of work like that. At least that's what I'm thinking for now. We'll see where the traffic is. This might also get upgraded to 6 lanes, at least coming down through here, but we're also going to do metro and make sure we have encouraged biking and things like that, and get people walking around the city more, and hopefully not in their cars all the time. So we can figure that out. Let's hit play. Let's meet that industry demand. We got to make some money here. We do have some money in the bank, but we've got some problems happening too. You can see that we're having trouble getting coal for our power plants. That is okay though. 2 of them are doing just fine. We still have this this big backup on the highway here, and there's still a good amount of trucks coming into the industry area. It's definitely improving a little bit, but it's a major point of congestion here for this part of the town. Now, one of the other things that I wanted to look at is it's not too bad. They've got good medical coverage over here, but we do have people complaining about the noise. You can, I think I mentioned this previously, you can solve it one of 2 ways: is reduce the noise or give them better healthcare coverage. And I want to look at, so we've got a health clinic over here. We've got fire on this main street. I was thinking of police over in the commercial, and then healthcare right here, because we can kind of cram these in on these central intersections, and then that way that should give them good access to the city. So let's go ahead and bulldoze this old med clinic. That was the med clinic, right? Yes. We'll bulldoze that. Let's rezone it and let some people move in there. Med clinic should be providing good coverage now, and we should see an ambulance pulling up. Whoa! So I've seen this happening more lately, where cars kind of get stuck. Like, yeah, I mean, I've got a traffic problem here, but you'll notice, like, why is the ambulance parking on the sidewalk and blocking traffic? Like, so we do have to work on this. This is a concern. But I feel like the most recent update messed with traffic even more. Although, look at this army of ambulances going to help people with the noise sickness down here. I can't help but wonder, are they sick from all the freaking sirens? That would probably make me noise sick too. So we will have to look at this. I think I'm going to have to expand some of these to at least 4-lane, if not 6-lane roads, because it just can't, this artery right here can't support the traffic that it needs to. And when you have 2 lanes, you've got people waiting to turn left. If you've got 3 lanes going either way, you have a center lane, a left lane, a right lane, and people don't have to stop behind others to turn. That seems to be a super heavy block. And since this might be a good way to come down into our office area, let's get out in front of it. We're going to break some stuff to do this. Hopefully we don't have any service buildings here on this street. We do. We have our schools right there. Figures. So let's upgrade everything else for now. Gonna move some buildings out, but this is going to... I did 4 lanes. I wanted to do 6 lanes. Awesome. Let's upgrade this. 4 lanes, again, probably would have been fine, but you can't turn left over the medians, so people end up U-turning more. Let's move our school. Let's see. I think if I move it over 1 unit, that is enough. Because it should take up 1 unit on either side to upgrade this road. It does. Okay, and then let's zone out some commercial space. You know what? Maybe just to keep things kind of linked up, we'll put the high school right across the street from the elementary school, and we'll rezone that. Look at all the students we moved. Get back to class. All right. Commercial space. Right here. Demand-wise, everything's being met. So let's look at... I knew I forgot something earlier. I said we were going to do it, but I forgot to check our water coverage over here. And then water treatment-wise, we're getting to the yellow. We've got to think about maybe adding a 3rd sewage treatment plant, and let's just do that. Well, we've got the cash. One of the commenters mentioned that they kind of liked the underpass road here, so I apologize for replacing that with sewage. It's quite the downgrade from a nice little coastal road wrapping up through the hills to a bunch of poop pipes, so I apologize for that. But maybe we will move these way down by shipping at some point, because you can see it's polluting the shore here. So if we put it here, it'll just run right off the map and be somebody else's problem. But let's see. Let's take a look. Let's take stock of kind of where we're at. So from an economy standpoint, our taxes are 12% across the board. Budget-wise, we don't have the electric budget all the way up. I think I forgot that. Let's look at info views. And our electricity availability is still way in the green. Let's turn off a second coal power plant and see where that puts us. Because we'll keep these in case we need quick power with low money. Because you're reducing the weekly cost when you do that. It's an extra $500 a week that we're making now in money. So electricity's still way in the green. Can we turn a 3rd one off? And some of you are thinking, can you just turn off the 4th one? Let's see. Let's find out step by step. We might be able. Yeah, we can. All right, so should be fine there, and that's still at 90% power production, I think. So we'll be able to raise our budget. We're polluting a little less, and we can drop in another solar tower. These are going to get moved eventually, because this tall tower does not belong next to this area. But we're going to totally revamp this. We're going to build a new neighborhood kind of up here in the trees. It'll be a little polluted at first, but it will eventually recover, and especially once we have the Eden project, even stuff like the dumps and the incineration plants won't pollute anything beyond the initial building itself. And you can actually completely reduce ground and water pollution if you just let the Eden project do its thing long enough. There is an achievement for getting 0 ground pollution in 0 water and ground pollution in a town of 10,000 or more, and I did it with over 100,000 just by letting the Eden project just run and run and run. So it eventually will clear up all the pollution. Okay, so I feel like I'm kind of getting sidetracked, but we're at kind of a weird spot in the city. So we're losing population very slowly, and some of that has to do with some of the traffic problems that we were having. Hopefully this will sort itself out. So we'll go back into info views. So just a quick recap. Electric is good. We can raise the budget. Water is good. Fire safety is pretty good. So if you look at our streets, everything's pretty much in the green, fire safety wise. We're a little light over here, and we could improve that with just a simple little thing right here. I'm going to open up this neighborhood a little bit, and we're just going to connect it to this intersection right over there. And basically what that does to our fire safety is now we've got a more direct route. So if we play it, it should update that. Get a little bit more green over here. I don't notice if that changed, but that should provide a more direct route over here because you can cut through these neighborhoods now. We've got crime happening over here, but they're on the edge of the green. They're in pretty good shape. Where we don't have... Oh, I did put a police station in already. I thought I had not done that yet. So we're good on crime coverage down here. That's good. Healthcare wise, again, we're in the green down here. Not a lot of healthcare coverage over here. We'll have to consider that when we convert that to residential. Pretty good, but we're definitely light over here for healthcare coverage. Death care wise, we've got 2 cemeteries right now. And we do have crematoriums available. So let's make sure that we have crematorium availability. We'll do the other one right here across this footpath. Back into our info views. This is kind of, we just need to do these assessments every once in a while to make sure we're meeting all the needs. We'll probably want a second elementary school up here at some point soon. Elementary coverage is pretty good over here. You can see that we have a pretty low education over this way, or at least not graduated yet. But we've got good coverage in the green most places. Let's really get this covered. We're gonna go with the cheaper, smaller elementary school. It's not necessarily a green building, but it's not a polluting building. We'll throw in over here on the edge of this neighborhood. That gets things kind of in the green. It's just starting to fade out as this one starts to pick up, which is good. And then let's get another one over here somewhere. I think what we'll do is we'll extend this block out one more segment, and we'll throw an elementary over there. I don't want to have them too close together. Let's go at another 30 units from there. Come on, I would like you to click there. Thank you. And we'll do... I'm going to do a 6-lane road just in case. Just as a spacer. We're not even going anywhere with it yet. But in case that does become a 6-lane road, I want to throw, and we'll do the green one here. I want to throw another community school right there. Now these, it's totally redundant and totally unnecessary because we don't have anybody living over here yet. But I just really want to stay on top of education because we're going to completely dezone the industry, and it's... Didn't mean to do that. It's going to be all about those office jobs. We want to get the education up as high as we can in the meantime. Gonna connect power from somewhere here. We'll branch it over from here. That works. Just to get that connected for now. That should... There we go. That was right on the edge of that bubble. So back to education. How's our high schooling? High schooling is good too for now. Got a fair number of them around there. Did those creative arts students get back to work? Or are they still... Nope. Nope, not working. It's messing around. Never gonna populate these office jobs. They're not doing anything. One skateboarding standing still in the front. All right. Let's not worry about them. Let's not worry about them. Let's worry about what else we've got going on. So, happiness-wise, we're pretty good. Office and industrial especially. Residential happiness overall is decent, and commercial's pretty good. A little bit better than the residential, so we'll have to work to improve residential happiness. Again, one of the ways that we can do that is with parks. Let's take a look at what parks we can drop in. So we've got the Statue of Shopping, which I feel should be somewhat near a commercial area. So we've got this little piece that hasn't moved back in yet. Let's throw it right here on this corner. So that'll help out a little bit there, and it's kind of nice to have a little plaza, a little bit of open space here in the downtown area. Some room to breathe. Where are we light over here? Pretty much everywhere. We don't have a lot of leisure down here. So maybe across from the high school. We move it in right there on the curve. That's not too bad, right across from the high school. And has some happiness. It's a pretty narrow neighborhood though, so it spreads out in a circular bubble. We had a bit more of an oval bubble. It would be appropriate for here, but unfortunately it's not the case. Good to see the regular high school students are just as unproductive as the creative arts students. If you back up just a little bit, right here, they're just standing totally still like mannequins. And if you zoom in, they're actually at least moving. One thing I was thinking of doing, and this is going to be much later, but I was thinking of doing something that is totally redundant from a necessity standpoint, but would look kind of cool, is having like a university campus. So we could have like this institute building back here, and then have a couple university buildings and some faculty buildings. And there's even some, where is it? On the modders packs, like there's different buildings that you can build in, like robotics. Is this robotics institute? So I was thinking of having kind of like a university campus. You don't need multiple universities that close to one another. It would be totally redundant and totally a waste of money, but I think it'll look really cool. So when we have a lot more money in the bank later on in our city, I think that's going to be one of our builds, is to kind of have just this huge university campus. Maybe kind of tucked in somewhere off to the side of the bigger city area. You know, maybe we put it up here by the water, kind of give it its own highway exit even. So that could be kind of a cool build, but this is, again, just me thinking about futures and kind of talking about some of the plans that we'll have. Leisure and unique buildings, we definitely want to get on, because there's not a lot of that happening right now, and that's one of the things that's affecting our happiness. Traffic is something that we need to work on. I believe, actually, did we change intersections when we... Okay, so the intersection's still working the same way. We did, create stoplights up here, though, that we didn't have before. So let's get that fixed. And hopefully that will help some of our traffic problems. Forgot that I reintroduced that problem by upgrading those roads to 6-lane. So it's not too bad. It's flowing here, right? It's not backing up onto the rotary or anything. How are we doing over here now that all those businesses have moved out? It's definitely flowing better. It's still a little slow at spots. Kind of backing up here a little bit. You can see, like, right about the time that it backs up to the rotary is right around the time that traffic light lets people out and they start moving. So just something to keep an eye on. Right now we don't have enough people over here where that has backed up much more than that, and we're going to try and kind of keep this the same. The next neighborhood will spin off. Hopefully people will prefer to take this exit off, and then we'll have some people living over here kind of in these trees, you know, in this area right in here up to the trees. Speaking of trees, and this just reminded me, this little fire icon. Come on, fire department. Oh, we got 2 houses on fire now. If we get a third, I'm going to bulldoze, just so it doesn't spread. Because I think this fire engine is going to leave. Yep, and the next one's going to take that fire next door. So if either of these burst into flames, we'll bulldoze the house on either side of it, just so it doesn't spread. But fire. So I'm glad I saw this and thought of this. So if we go back up to our fire safety wise, the streets are all green for the most part. Like I said, there's a bad spot over here. We're pretty good. You'll notice what is our risk, though, is the trees. So the trees are definitely a risky spot right now. What we could do, temporary placement for now, is we can put a fire helicopter depot right there. Then that way, if we get any fires that are off the road, forest fires, the only way to stop them is with a helicopter depot. They'll go pick up with helicopters buckets of water from the river and then drop them onto any trees that are on fire. So if fire spreads to one of those trees, lightning strike, forest fire, anything like that, we'll now be able to put that out, which is good. So we've talked about a couple different things. We've got to meet our next big demand. Our next big push for demand is office. Technically industry, but we're done with industry now. So I think we can try and get away with these one-lane roads. I say one lane, one way each way. One way each way? Two-way roads, one lane each way. We'll come out another 3, so 30 units. And I want to connect these together, because we need to do a bit of expansion here. And I want to see how this handles the traffic. If it handles the traffic, we'll see. So what did I do here for spacing? Did I do more than... Let's see how this works out. That is $440 worth of road. Let's see if my spacing is correct. It is not. Is it? So do we not have space? Well, you know what? It's going to be good enough. Those intersections are going to be a little close together. If we connect this. So maybe we step that out just a little bit. I mean, not that these aren't close intersections, but these two are too close. So let's bulldoze that. Let's rethink this. So if we want to come out 12 units this time, that should give us, yeah, that should give us the zoning that we want. And we'll keep an eye on this. We can always knock out some of these roads to stop these intersections. We also haven't redone our traffic lights over here yet, which we will want to do, because we want to give the right of way to the main avenue. But let's zone this off real quick. Let's get some people moving in. We'll do this side for now. And we know we'll probably have to do water. Come down and cover this off, and then just extend our grid to the left for everything else. So these are all going to move in just fine, but there's some of them are going to get abandoned because we do have that capacity problem for exporting the goods right now, right? There's not enough buyers. Second time I've done that today. Not enough buyers. We don't want crooked pipes. Not enough buyers for some of these, so you know, we've got to meet the commercial demand as it happens, which interestingly enough just popped up, which is nice. So we could extend this out a little bit. We could fill in that block, though technically regular office is fine. Pause. I know what I forgot to do, and some of you may be thinking it, and if you're shaking your fist at the screen right now, props to you. You're thinking, I didn't extend the district. Ooh. That worked out perfect. That's great. So we will just make sure that this extends to any new offices that are created down here. This is going to be our high-tech center. Any offices up there. So those offices, technically, I don't want to be high-tech. I want that to be down. Let's go to our smaller rush. That we're very precise here. Extend this on this side of the street. I don't want to fix that. That should be good enough. That's fine. That's going to move a couple of these high-rise buildings out, I believe. Those couple right there. Yep. And they'll really be focused in on that downtown area. I've got to find a way to link. Oh, I left these on 4 lanes. Let's upgrade those and potentially link this together. So we'll upgrade. We could have like a little curved road that goes up to there, maybe. What if we do this? That way the residents can kind of come down this area and get into the downtown without having to take the rotary. Or people coming into the city, it should be easy enough to just get off the rotary there. Now, okay, we've got traffic backup happening again because we've got a ton of people coming in here. Eventually what we're going to do is we're going to continue this highway as a tunnel, I'm thinking, because I already zoned out a lot of stuff over there. Taking the highway should be the faster route, and that should alleviate some of the traffic and stress on this area up here. It'll kind of encourage people, if they're coming down here, to get off down here instead. I'll have a little tunnel under the city. It'll be our big dig project. For those of you that know Boston, you know what a mess that was. If you don't and you're interested, just Google, probably on Wikipedia, Big Dig, and it was a massive project in Boston to tunnel under the city and get some of the traffic off the surface streets, and it was way over budget and way over the time it was planned. It's like one of the most disastrous construction projects that any big city has ever undertaken. It's pretty remarkable, so it's a good read if you're interested in that kind of thing. If not, then just trust me, Boston is still a mess for a reason. I think that's a pretty good spot. I know we didn't accomplish a ton today, but we're kind of at that weird spot in the city where the milestones happen pretty fast. We do have to meet residential demand, which is climbing up, and we can do that. I think I want to do at least one more block over here. Let's do that before we sign off. We'll be quick about this one. So we want to extend this out so that we're intersecting with this street, because we need people moving in. That's one of the biggest things right now. I was saying that the milestones happen pretty fast when you're first building a city out, especially if you stay on 3 times speed the whole time. Where we're at now, let me see. I think it's 32,000 is our next one. So like that's a noticeable jump, because when you're on these last couple milestones, right, you're going from 400 and 900 to 15, 26, 5, 75, 10, 16. You've got this huge jump where you're almost adding. You're going from 19 to 32, right? You're talking about like half of your population over. Okay, pause. I always do this. I'm like, oh, let's do one more thing, and then that becomes 3 more things. So power-wise, wrong button, info views, power-wise, we're in the yellow, but if you remember, one of the reasons that might be the case is that we're only running 90%. Let's crank it up to 100 and see if that gets us through to the end of the episode. We can always turn on. Okay, that's good. That'll power our edge of our grids. Sewage treatment is in the yellow. We'll do that next episode. That'll be the first thing we do, is add another sewage treatment plant in. But for right now, we'll finish with that thing I said we were going to finish. And we will just zone off some residential over here since it is our biggest demand right now, and call it quits. So, commercial along the main street. We've got a 6-lane road here, so I'm okay if a business moves in facing that way. Going against my own theory. If it becomes a traffic problem, we can sort it out later. We can fix it later. Okay, so we've got that. Pause. Districts again, just to make sure. Woo! I thought these buildings looked funny. So what do we think? Do we let some regular houses move in? Just for kind of a different look? So we've got the green buildings there, and then regular buildings there. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm going to let these people stay moved in now because I already forgot to extend this. But let me go into cinematic view, and what do you think about having a bunch of green buildings and then having some regular apartment buildings? Let me know, because if you stay tuned this long, 1, I really appreciate it. 2, you obviously have some investment in the series, so let me know what you want to see. Do you want me to switch this over to all green buildings, or do you want me to go kind of with this mixed approach and we can do more green buildings down here and over there and mix it up a bit just for different look and feel? Your thoughts are greatly appreciated, as is all the support. It's fantastic. Comment section is always great, supportive, helpful. There's a couple things that have been brought up in the comments that I haven't got a chance to talk about yet. I usually record a couple episodes at once and then upload them over a few days after I do some minor edits. So if I haven't responded to your comments or built-in ideas, I definitely am thinking about that. This episode was recorded on Monday, February 4th, and it will probably go up Tuesday the 5th. So I'll get to some more of those comments. We'll keep expanding the city. We will cover our sewage problem, and I think we're going to start wanting to plan out metro. We'll end up redesigning the lines multiple times as our city expands, but it would be nice to get some people off the roads, give them some other ways to get around, and take a look at our traffic intersections probably in the next episode. So if managing metro and traffic is not your thing, it may not be the most exciting episode, but it's something that we need to do. And we will definitely take a look at on episode 7, if I'm remembering correct. As always, if you enjoyed the video, likes, shares, comments, all are really appreciated and help the channel out a lot. If you're new here, subscribe for more City Skylines and other great game videos. While you're at it, hit that bell to get notifications, because it's very easy for small channels like mine to get lost in the shuffle, and check back at the channel regularly, because a lot of people have been reporting that they don't always get notifications. So come back, check out. I'll be trying to upload a new video every day, but as I mentioned before, sometimes life happens. It's not always possible, but I will, I've really been on a cities kick, and we'll be looking to just share this build with you. We're also going to do some new tutorials and how-tos. Once I have all the Green Cities content unlocked on console, I'll do that. I haven't unlocked on the PC, so maybe I might just go that route to get it out in a timely manner. But there'll be some asset videos and custom things you can download on the workshop if you're playing on PC. I'll do a video on that before I share those out, or as I'm sharing those out. So with that long, lengthy, rambling outro out of the way, until the next one, this is Move the Mouse, signing off.